pretty obvious where Miller played in high school as far as on the field. He was indeed a defender. Still carries that chip on his shoulder. And yet when his team had the opportunity to beat the scoring record in the state of Missouri this year, went ahead and did it. Our third inductee this afternoon is Springfield Glendale's Jeff Rogers. I'm honored to get to introduce a man from the conference where I coach, girls soccer, because this is a man I've got to witness coaching firsthand, and a man whom I believe is truly one of the finest coaches and gentlemen I've ever met. I do feel the need to note that of Coach Rogers' combined 731 wins, I believe about 25% of them are against Kansas. So after I wrote that last night, I actually sat down and crunched the numbers. It's not 25%. It is, on the girls' side of things, 3%. But we are also responsible for 6% of his ties. We've tied them twice. And then a whopping 0% of their losses. So that's kind of sad, actually. I'm not nearly as honored as I was a second ago. It sounds different when you read it out loud. Coach Rogers is a man of great integrity and modesty. He started in Glendale in 1988, became head coach in 1990. During the course of that time, his boys' overall record is 419 wins, 140 losses, and 31 ties. Girls' overall record is 312 wins, 116 losses, and 34 ties. For a combined 731 wins, 256 losses, and 65 ties. He's had 11 conference titles in the boys, 17 district titles in the boys, and 4 Final Four appearances, where he finished with 1 second place and 3 fourth place finishes. In girls, he has 8 conference titles, 8 district titles, and 3 Final Fours, with a 3rd place and 2 fourth place finishes. Coach Rogers was also the 2008 State and Regional Coach of the Year, and he's been named the District Coach of the Year more times than anyone remembers. When it comes to soccer in the Southwest area, Coach Rogers has very few peers. And one thing that I admire about him is that the majority of us down in the Southwest area, we just complain that we don't have the players, we don't have the field, we don't have the same accommodations that the cities have on west and east. And Coach Rogers didn't complain, he just got it done. And I have a ton of respect for him on that. With a knack for getting his team to overachieve on the field, Coach Rogers is a genuine master at turning young adults into wonderful soccer players. Everybody knows that. But he's truly a class act off the field as well. In 2009, Jeff Rogers had the opportunity to do God's work while on a mission trip in South Africa. And I know what some of you are thinking. I didn't know Terry Meckler did a soccer camp in Africa. But, sorry. But, anyway, Coach Rogers did have a chance to go to South Africa and help out a population of youths where the HIV rate was nearly 70%, and counsel them on a variety of topics by getting them to come out through their interest in soccer. And he and I got to speak about that on the sideline in the midst of an 8-1 beating. And he jumped at this chance to do this, even as his girls' team they were preparing to keep playing all the way to the Final Four, and Coach Rogers had already committed. So he did not waver and completed his mission work because, frankly, he had made the commitment. And he's a man of honor and a man of his word, and a man who truly understands both just how important participating in the sport can be, as well as remembering that there are several other important things in life as well. He's grounded. He is mature beyond his age as far as advice he has given me about keeping things in perspective. Coach Jeff Rogers' teams win over 74% of the time, and yet this man puts his family and his ethics well ahead of what he does on the field. Truly one of the best coaches and men that I know. I'm honored to introduce to you our 3rd Hall of Fame inductee, Coach Jeff Rogers.
You would have told me that I could come to a banquet and hear J.D. Hunter MC and Chris Lawson pray, I would have paid $100 for that. So I am truly humbled to be here today to accept this honor. Mike Howard gave me a call about a month ago, and he said, "Hey bud, you're going in the hall." And to receive that call from Mike, and to be here in this room with all the great coaches and the great programs that are represented, I'm truly humbled and truly blessed. I just want to thank Chris for his leadership with the organization. One of the things you don't know, Chris sits on the soccer advisory committee, so he is a true spokesman for our sport. And anything that he does, it's all about these kids. So when we're pushing coaches to get involved in the organization, it's so that we can honor more kids. We can get more All-Americans. We can get more All-Midwest players. So I appreciate Chris for his leadership. I want to thank my family. There's a lot of, and when I use the term family, I'm always referring to not only my personal family, but my Glendale family. And there's a lot of Glendale folks here in the room, so thank you for making the drive. If you would ask, and everybody in this room understands, let's get in a car and drive several hours, sit for 2 hours, and then get in a car and drive home. Soccer people do that every day. So thank you for making the journey to be here today to honor the coaches, but more importantly, the kids. I want to thank my family. I've got my brother here, my mom and dad, my sister-in-law, and you know, without family, this doesn't happen. This moment doesn't happen. I fell in love with a 13-year-old cheerleader, and JD, I wasn't in my 20s. But she's been cheering for me ever since, and she blessed me with 3 great kids. The highlight of my coaching career has been the fact that I've been able to coach my own kids. And I've run out of kids. Jesse will be a senior this year at Glendale, so I'm out of kids. But it's been great. I had my Glendale kids. I was walking off the field a few years ago, and I had a dad come up to me and he said, "Jeff, you know, this coaching thing, it's not a get quick rich or get rich quick scheme. You know, there's long rides on a yellow bus. There's the inclement weather. There's the hard times, maybe a parent that's frustrated, a wayward child. Why do you do it? Why do you coach?" And for me, I thought about that when Mike called me. Why do I coach? And for me, it's always been about the kids. I've realized that trophies get lost and broke. I can't even tell you where our plaques go once the kids grab them. But for me, it's always been about the kids. When I get that phone call from a player that said, "Dad has had a heart attack. We're in the emergency room. Can you get here?" That's what it is for me. That's why I coach. When I look back since 1990, when I started, I've had 18 former players come back and stand on the sidelines with me. And that's a neat testament to the program, and that these kids want to mentor, they want to give back. That's why I coach. I have a letter that I carry with me every day. It's from the Department of Corrections. It's from inmate 136248. And it starts off with, "Coach, thank you for talking to us about the dangers of drugs and alcohol. Thank you for giving us those speeches. Use me as an example. I'm serving a 6-year sentence because I did not make the right decisions." That's why I coach. Phil Hodge is here today. We had a great battle. We always have great battles with Kickapoo. A few years ago, it was a Thursday night game, and Kickapoo got us 1-0. And I'm sitting in my office like many coaches do, and I'm kind of licking my wounds and going through my mind that would've, could've, should've, of what we could have done differently. And as I'm sitting there, I hear a knock on the door, and I look up, player I haven't seen in probably 15 years. And he said, "Coach, I read the paper this morning, and I knew you'd probably be down, but I just wanted to come in here and tell you I'm 10 years sober. You know, I'm beating it." And that just put it all in perspective for me. That's why I coach. Anytime I'm running through an airport, I get a text, I get an email. The kids are saying, "Coach, here's what's going on in my life. I work for the Secret Service, I protect the president. I'm flying F-16s. I'm in the Marine Corps. I got accepted to West Point. I'm going to be a dentist, a doctor, a teacher, a professor. And knowing that as coaches, we have that small part of being in their lives to encourage them to be successful. That's why I coach. Had a young man remind me of why I do this. 2 years ago, we lost a young man in a plane crash that took the life of his whole family. And his last words to me were, "Coach, it's a family thing." And that just was etched in my soul. This has always been a family thing for us, for my family, for our Glendale family. And that's why I coach. It's often been said that a good coach can change a game. And as good coaches, we have to look at a game, manage a game, move kids around, manage the clock, work within the system. A good coach can do that. A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life. And with God's blessing, that's what I wake up every day, hoping, to striving to be a great coach. Thank you for this honor. I'm truly blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Rogers. At this point, we'd like to bring up Chris Lawson from Rockhurst High School.
Every head coach and program knows the value of having a great assistant coach. We've all been blessed with great assistants. A great assistant advises, plans, oftentimes runs practice for the head coach when needed, communicates with players, prepares the team for out-of-town trips, and also gives another voice to helping shape players' lives through high school soccer. Josh Keisker, nominated by head coach Jeff Rogers at Springfield Glendale, been an assistant coach for over 10 plus years. As Jeff says, Josh played for me and was part of the first Final Four team in 1991 as a freshman. His senior year, he played in our second Final Four. Josh has been on the sidelines with me when Glendale played in one more boys Final Four and all three of the girls Final Four runs. He was an all-state player for Glendale and went on to play for Drury University. Josh also has coached numerous club teams in the offseason and is currently coaching a U10 boys team. He loves the game and the kids and is a great role model for the players. Josh Keisker.
There's no doubt that the assistant coach plays a very huge role as we sit here and talk about how the head coaches get all the press. And we started this work a couple years ago because of that. Just to give you an idea, when I first started out, my first assistant coach had a different resume. He spent most of his time swinging on the crossbar, back and forth saying, "You can't score on me." I'm not naming names. And the best part about the visual I'll give you, and again, I don't take it away from Coach Keisker there from Glendale, but Coach Hunter would come out in his penny loafers back in the day. This was back in the 90s. And he was not a soccer guy at the time. So, Jeff Rogers, now I know why you're in the Hall of Fame and I'm not.